Hi there, folks. My name's NovaWrap24, and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings-on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday, the 18th of September, 2022, for another action-packed episode, and we're going to kickstart with a release that I forgot from last week. So we're going to be leading the charge with some X-Plane releases this week, and as I said, this one, particular one that comes to us from V-Sky Labs, is one that I missed in all the fanfare of release of the actual sim itself. So V-Sky Labs have come to the community and releasing their latest product, their Maule M-7-235 project, exclusively for X-Plane 12. So there is no X-Plane 11 version for this one. This is a early access release that is designed and purely designed as part of it as an X-Plane 12 exclusive aircraft. Not only is, and it's designed to mirror the evolution of X-Plane 12 as it evolves, hence the title of early access for the moment. Now, even though it's early access, it is still fully fledged release for the sim, and gives us a very iconic STOL aircraft that those who may have flown in the ESP family of sims would be very recognizable, would recognize very much so. Now, this particular variant, though, is the 235, which is a tail dragger variant of the Maule M7 family of aircraft, and comes to us in two different versions. It comes with a land version with the sort of bush tundra tires, and also comes with a float variant as well for all your water operations. Now, it is designed, as I said, as a default X-Plane 12 aircraft, and taking advantage of all the updates that X-Plane 12 has to offer. Offers full support for VR capabilities as well, when designed with VR pilots in mind. Full inbuilt AVITAB compatibility, along with custom flight dynamics and custom coded engine systems and avionics to make it as close as possible to the real thing. And this release comes to us for the grand total price of $33 or your regional equivalent, available now from V-Sky Labs. Continuing on with X-Plane 12 releases this week from the team over at Thoranda Designs, they released their latest in their dynamic generation series with the release of their rendition of the Cessna 206G Stationair. Now, this is so as part of their dynamic generation series, it gives a lot more control of how your aircraft is set up over to you, the virtual aviator, by giving you a wide range of different instruments to be able to set up, as well as aircraft configurations, which allows you to easily customize whichever you want to do and however you want to set it up, and allows you to. That does come included, but if that sounds a bit intimidating, it's okay. It comes with 6 panel presets for each for the aircraft, in case you wanted to give you a place to start with. Custom coded avionics and systems have all been included, as well as supporting the default systems for the 430 and 530 that comes with X-Plane. Includes a number of virtual liveries, which you can either base on, you can sort of repaint in the basic generic sort of factory standard color schemes, or otherwise a number of custom liveries are available as well. Gives custom coded flight dynamics with accurate weight, balance, and dynamic feel, as well as a number of different options for ground servicing equipment, including sort of tie downs, chocks that actually stop the aircraft moving even in high winds. Custom coded flight dynamics as well to give you the actual feel of how the aircraft feels when it is operating in the air, and also in the wake of ground effects as well. Custom FMOD based sound system with high fidelity sounds recorded from a real aircraft, giving us a full 3D audio effect experience for this aircraft. So if you wanted to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up from the Xplane.org store for $40 or your original equivalent, available now. Continuing on with X-Plane 12 releases, and these next two releases are rather interesting, actually. So the next two releases that we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about trees, lots and lots of trees. So one of the things that I talked about that X-Plane 12 sort of promotes as part of its big thing that it's doing is it has dynamic trees now, but it's still using sort of its interesting way of sort of setting up forests throughout the sim. So the first product we're going to be talking about here is a product from Geo Reality called Global Forests V2 for X-Plane 12. Now, on the surface of it, this is essentially a reboot of the same product range that they released for X-Plane 11. However, previously they'd released these as different regional sort of variations you bought per region. However, with the advent of X-Plane 12 and the reboot into version 2, they're now offering it as a all-in-one omnibus edition covering Europe, North America, and Oceania. Now, this pack, the highlight reel of this pack says that it adds custom variation, tree density, tree type, and tree height for natural forest representation, with over 400 forestry files to give you different types of variation density, as we talked about, based on real-world data. It's designed to seamlessly integrate with Ortho for XP as well as into the default X-Plane 12's terrain. Now, the first thing that I notice about this is it says nothing about whether the trees are dynamic or not. And the limited screenshots that I saw, I just actually, you know what? I just don't know. I just don't know. As I said, it doesn't say anything that it does support the dynamic trees. So I'm going to have to assume that it doesn't. But, happy to be proved wrong, but as I said, I have to assume that it doesn't. So this pack, if you want to add it in, comes in for $15 US from the AUX store if you wanted to grab it and add this to your sim. Now, this is now in direct opposition to the other forestry add-on that came out this week, and this one came out from the team over at Sim Heaven, and in some ways, like the one from Geo Reality, this is a reboot of a previously released set of add-ons for X-Plane 11. Which this time is giving them they're part of their XWorld series. So this week, we saw the release from Sim Heaven of their XWorld XWorld America and XWorld Europe. So this is a combination. But this is more than just a forestry add-on, though. This is more than just a forestry add-on. This is a forestry and autogen update. So you're getting a lot more with this package. Now, this package, though, and the reason why I sort of said that they're related is that this one takes advantage of the inbuilt trees that come with the sim, which also have dynamic scenery, which is dynamic seasonal support now, which previously they didn't. Like explain previously, sort of it was always summer all over the globe all the time. So this time around, it does support the dynamic vegetation library that ships with X-Plane 12, including the animated trees, and it gives you that capability globally. So I'm still not 100% sure if X-Plane 12 does the trees globally or not. I'm reasonably sure they do, but this one definitely does support that. So it gives you, as I said, it gives you the custom forestry updated based on OSM data, and updates the trees to be where they should be according to that data set. So that's the forestry component, but where it's similar to the previous release. Now, what it also adds in, though, is it also adds in new autogen data. So instead of applying the placement of auto-generated buildings in sort of like a fairly generic, this is dense urban, this is industrial, this is agricultural, this is residential, sort of higgledy-piggledy kind of stuff that it does. What this one does instead is that this one actually pulls in the OSM data in addition to Microsoft Bing data for building footprints, and actually overlays the autogen building onto said building footprint that's in the data, which is really powerful, and in many ways actually then brings this sim and does a lot what Microsoft Flight Simulator does for its auto-generated scenery and what the Black Shark AI does. So I found that an incredibly interesting sort of piece there. It also includes a number of sort of custom objects that will appear in certain parts of the world. So you get a lot of bang for your buck on this one, and the best part about this one is that the bucks are free. These both of the releases for XWorld, so XWorld America and XWorld Europe, are both free releases to the community. It is donationware, so if you would like to donate and support the team over at Sim Heaven, or the team of one at Sim Heaven, please consider throwing some money at them, because this add-on, I'm not a huge X-Plane flyer, but now that I know about this add-on, this one will be an absolute must-have for me whenever I get into X-Plane. So if you want to pick these two up, for free from Sim Heaven, available now. Moving out of the world of X-Plane and moving into the world of Microsoft Flight Simulator now. So a few releases this week. First off, leading the charge from Burning Blue Design. So this week, the release of their latest airport scenery of Goodwood Aerodrome. So Goodwood Aerodrome was originally RAF West Hampton, which was built during the Second World War as emergency landing and satellite station for RAF Tangmere, and actually would end up hosting over 30 squadrons from various services, including the RAF, the RCAF, the RNZAF, the Naval Air Service, and the US Army Air Force. During its time, it saw a large number of different aircraft operating out of there. It was actually, at the end of the war, it was actually passed into private hands and became, as there was a surge of domestic and private aviation. And it was originally leased from the Goodwood estate, which was owned by the then Duke of Richmond of the area. So there's a bit of cool little history for that one. Now, along with aviation, Goodwood is also home to other forms of speed in the terms of the Goodwood Motor Racing Circuit, which actually encircles the entire airfield, and is the only classic motor racing circuit that is left to this day, dating from 1948. And continues to this day to host a number of events throughout the year. Now, this particular rendition of the airport gives an accurate rendition of the airport as it appears in 2022, including over 200 custom 3D objects created exclusively for the airport and the surrounding area, with a large number of various detritus sort of assets placed around the airport, and not only custom ones, but also creative reuse of default assets to make sure it actually feels like the active working airfield that it is. Includes custom ground texturing also included with this one, with a number of, and all the major airport buildings are delivered to us in very high detail, including a number of the hangars and a number of static aircraft that represent the actual aircraft that actually operate out of there, including 2 Spitfire Mark 9s, the Silver Spitfire, GIRTY, and the City of Exeter R232. Both of those are modelled along with a Texan, and a number of the Goodwood Flying School Cessna and Piper aircraft are all modelled and placed in their accurate positions in real life. Along with that, as I said, we mentioned before, a number of regional POIs have been included, and of course, as we discussed before, the Goodwood Motor Circuit has been placed into it and enhanced along with the aerodrome, and includes the full motor circuit as track layout, complete with marshal posts, track markings, track signs, crash barriers, and rumble strips. So the funny part is, and they say that it's so true to life, you can actually race on it. So I now see a valid reason to grab some of those vehicle add-ons that have appeared over at the flightsim.to site, which could be rather interesting. So all of that has been modeled and comes to us as a pretty cool little add-on, this one. Now, if you want to add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $17 US, or your original equivalent, available now from Burning Blue Design. Continuing on with Microsoft Flight Simulator releases this week with a interesting release from the team over at Perfect Flight. So this week, the release of FA-18 Challengers US Air Bases. Now, I have questions about this add-on, like straight up I do. So, what this essentially is is a well. Look, on one level, I think it's kind of interesting. So it's a pack of landing challenges. It's 56 landing challenges for the default Super Hornet that appears in Microsoft Flight Simulator, thanks to the Game of the Year update. And does also require the Top Gun DLC to be installed as well. So this by itself, that's fine. You know, you said you get 56 landing challenges, so it's a big pack. You get apparently you get custom vocalized descriptions and details of each airbase that you're coming in to land at, with a spoken briefing and a vocal checklist. I'm curious about how that works, but we'll see. As well as a custom livery for the Rhino. Now, my question about it though is that you're not flying into US Navy. You're not flying into naval air stations or Marine Corps air stations, or you're flying into literally every US military base in North America. And I have questions about that. I go, okay, look, yeah, on one level, it's great that you got a bunch of landing challenges in there, but it's also, if you're putting 56 of them out there and they're not all Navy related, one, why? And two, how much level of detail went into each of these? Particularly if they're saying that we've got a custom vocal description of each details of each airbase in each landing challenge. Do we need that in every landing challenge? So yeah, the vocal checklist though sounds interesting. I'm assuming they've just adapted the in-sim Copilot readback checklist, which also is the other thing is if you're doing a vocal checklist, then you don't have a backseater or a Copilot in the Rhino. So there's questions there as well. Also, it's great that Perfect Flight included their own livery for this one, but what were they thinking? Like, just what? I'm sorry. Again, I have questions. It's like, why do you have an eagle on there? And yeah, I suppose at least they put captain's bars on the inside of the rudder. I suppose that's something. I don't know what though, but yeah. Anyway, I have questions, but if you want to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $15 US or your original equivalent, available now from PC Aviator. Continuing on with other Microsoft Flight Simulator releases this week, this time from the team over at Adventum Tours. So this week, the release of their latest Discovery and Tour pack, with the release of Australia Tour, the Adventum Tours Australia, sorry. So this is a very comprehensive pack and gives you a tour guide experience through a number of places in Australia, and giving you information, points of interest, POI information, different custom narrations, including details about Indigenous culture, Australian history, pop culture, and various geographic facts and tidbits. Each of the tours, so there are 10 tour missions included, which they're not multi-leg routes though. They are simply, they're a self-contained tour that you can sort of just set the autopilot and fly it for this one. So it is in a way, it's kind of a cool way to actually discover a bit of cool information about Australia. So in that way, I have a bit of respect for that one. Though the custom, your friendly tour guide Addison, is Microsoft Catherine, by the way, which is the Australian, the default Australian text-to-speech voice for Windows. Just FYI, small little fact there. Now on the box, so as I said, it gives you 10 tour missions. It gives you 10 discovery flights, which are just like the discovery flights that ship with the sim by default, which sort of place you in the air over a particular scenery area to allow you to look at some cool parts of Australia, along with 25 landing challenges at various parts around airports around Australia, in various different aircraft, everything from the Savage Cub all the way through to the Super Hornet. As well as that, it also includes a custom livery for the default default PC6 with an Australian theme. Now, a couple of interesting things I do want to note about this one. So, as I said, it says so on the box. It says they've got 20 tour missions. Actually, there's only 10. What there is that there's 10, but they're duplicated. One has you starting the mission on the runway, ready for takeoff, and the second one has you with a cold and dark start. So you actually have to start the aircraft from cold and dark. But it's marketed as 20, which is I don't necessarily agree with, but whatever. The other thing that's interesting about it as well is that the Discovery, like all of their tours, discovery flights, and landing challenges use live weather. Now I have mixed feelings about that. So the Discovery flights, perfectly okay with that being live weather. Tours, also kind of okay with that being live weather because, weather always changes in real life, so that's fine. Landing challenges, however, I absolutely disagree with, because if you're using live weather, then the active runway may change, which means that in order for you to, complete the landing challenge and score well, then you might be having to land on the wrong runway. So I can understand and I can appreciate, and I'm in agreeance for the tours and discovery flights using live weather, but the landing challenges, flat out disagree with that, and I think that's piss poor design is my personal choice, or is my personal opinion of that one. But either way, if you wanted to pick this one up, so it gives you a total of 55 different activities. You're coming in for a pretty cool price. This one for $10 or your regional equivalent, available now from Orbix Direct. Moving out of Microsoft Flight Simulator and moving into the world of War Thunder now, we saw a couple of interesting new releases this week from the team over at War Thunder, with 2 new frantic palm trees and a ground vehicle. So we saw the first one that we saw was the Augusta Westland T129 ATAK, which is a updated version of the Augusta 129. And was developed specifically for Turkish Air Forces and entered service in 2013. It comes with a variety of armaments, and all including the 20mm TM197B cannon, as well as support for air-to-air ATAS missiles and air-to-surface LUMTAS or 16 Sirit missiles or 76 unguided rockets, as well as a full complement of countermeasures and decoys, also modelled accurately in the sim. So you can pick this pack up for $50 or your original equivalent, available now from Steam or your favorite War Thunder location. In the other frantic palm tree release this week, I saw the Rooivalk, which was a South African helicopter development, which in many ways reminds me of the not only of the 129, but sort of various other. You can tell it's very heavily influenced by European helicopter designs, but then adapted to the harshness of the African continent. Initially flying in 1990, the aircraft and the design has been consistently upgraded, and the variant that it's actually modelled here, which is the 2011 variant, which is the CSH version, entered service with South African National Defence Forces. This aircraft is modelled and armed with a 20mm autocannon in a rotating turret in the nose, along with being equipped with a number of rocket weaponry, including FZ unguided rockets, Mokapa air-to-surface missiles, and Mistral air-to-air missiles on various different pylons. As well, various different helicopter features and systems are modelled, including thermovision and decoys are all modelled in the sim. And again, like the last pack, you can pick this one up for $50 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam or your War Thunder purchase location. In the third and final release for War Thunder this week, saw the release of the VRCC Centauro, which was an Italian, which is an Italian wheeled tank destroyer developed during the 1980s. The Centauro was this particular version of the VRCC is the export variant that was delivered to the Spanish armed forces in the early 2000s, and has excellent mobility with maximum speeds of over 100 kilometers an hour, and being armed with a 105 millimeter Otto Malaria gun, as well as a coaxial 7.62 millimeter machine gun. It is equipped, represented with a variety of rounds, including HESH, heat, smoke shells, and anti-personnel weapons, all with various, all accurately modelled as War Thunder does in their own special way. And if you wanted to pick this one up and add this one to your collection, you can pick this one up for $60 or your original equivalent, available now from Steam or your favorite War Thunder location. Moving out of combat and moving into public transport now. So this week, the release of the interesting OMSI 2 expansion, with the release of the AUXI Expansion. So this is not your traditional OMSI 2 expansion. It's not a vehicle. It's not a scenery or a route or anything like that. It's actually a series of different tool sets that are designed to help you as a virtual bus driver. So literally, AUXI is meaning auxiliary, meaning to help, and it aims to address a few interesting sort of challenges with the sim. So first off, it gives an updated and more advanced weather system, which calls on a number of new data streams to be able to deliver more accurate and live weather to the sim, as well as being able to deliver more gradual changes in the weather as it changes, rather than sort of the stop starting that it does. Also includes various different other updates, which quite honestly I kind of feel should be built into the sim, and kind of with the weather system as well, is that a lot of these feel like they're selling us stuff that should be in the sim by default. So along with the weather, you've also got it also adds in a text-to-speech system to address stops that don't get enunciated by the in-sim engine. Also includes, and it literally says, it solves a problem with OMSI's game time, which can get out of sync due to inconsistent frame rates. So I feel that while it's great that this add-on's been released, I feel that a lot of the stuff that's in there really should actually be built into the core sim. So great that somebody's that Husker Media has come out and actually gone, let's release this to improve everybody's experience. But at the same time, I'm like, these should actually be core game fixes. Like, they really, really should be. So anyway, your mileage may vary. If you want to pick this one up, you can pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. Sticking with civilian things and moving into the world of city planning now, City Skylines had a couple of releases this week, 3 releases this week. So the first one being the Plazas and Promenades add-on. So this one is an interesting expansion in many ways. I feel follows on from like their university add-on, and aims to actually give more life to your cities by encouraging pedestrian activity, by giving you more plaza assets, as well as new street options to make things pedestrian only or pedestrian prioritized streets, to make your city more people friendly and less car friendly, which is kind of interesting. It also includes 3 new district specializations, as well as a number of new city service buildings, pedestrian areas, and new policies to add into your simulation experience. Now, if you want to expand your city building experience with this one, you can pick this one up for $15 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And the other two releases for City Skylines were both content creator packs. So the first one being Seaside Resorts pack. So this one comes from artist and developer Gize. So this is a seaside resort inspired by the 19th century sort of seaside resorts that we would see in many places of Europe and the Americas. Specifically, though, this one is designed and based on American style buildings in the early 1900s. Includes 29 custom buildings, including a number of historical landmarks based on places in the US, as well as local library, police, fire services, and an historical train station. While the second content creator pack that was released this week comes to us from developer Revo and gives us the mid-century modern aesthetic to your city, which gives you 100. Wow, I just had to reread that. 147 residential buildings for your city, as well as 3 hotels, 2 restaurants, carports, and over 30 additional decorations, including fences, furniture, and yard decorations to add to your experience. So this pack has a lot in it. I think this one's probably more targeted at other people who are creating add-ons as well. So yeah, it could be kind of cool, this one, if you're wanting to. If you're a creator and wanting to leverage off some of the experience of Revo, this might be a great pack for you to add on. And for everybody else, it just looks cool, particularly the airport sort of building that's features the LAX that's included and modeled in this as well. Kind of cool. And both of these content creators packs are coming in can be yours for $6 US or your regional equivalent, available now on Steam. And with that, folks, that does now round out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can keep up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.